I'm so damn sick of hearing people brag that they're gonna retire next year just because they bought some Bitcoin. Really? You think it's that easy, huh? You think it's few magical internet coins are going golden ticket to a life of and margaritas while rest of us bust our asses till 65. Man, get the hell out of here with that bullshit. Let me tell you something straight up, my friend. You ain't special. You are sitting there fantasizing that your tiny crypto stash is going to save your sorry from working forever. You need a serious wake-up call. I'm not here to sprinkle a fairy dust on your dreams. I'm here to slap you with a reality. Hard and cold like Siberian winter, alright?
Let's start with this, homie. None of this is financial advice, all right? I ain't your financial advisor, and I ain't here to tell you what to do with your money. This is just my personal take, my raw-ass opinion from years in the game, and if you're smart, you'll listen. Think for yourself and stop being a... Look, I'm talking directly to you, and I have zero patience for bull. I'm looking you dead in the eye and asking, do you really have a plan, or are you just jerking off to fantasies of crypto riches? Because most of you watching, yeah, I'm calling you out, you don't have a damn plan. You have hope, maybe some half-baked idea that Bitcoin will moon and do all the work for you. Newsflash, hope is not a f***ing strategy. Never was, never will be. I didn't come to America to watch people piss away their future on wishful thinking. Where I come from, we learned the hard way that money can turn to dust overnight. I saw my own family's savings get destroyed by a currency collapse back in Russia. So trust me, I'm allergic to financial bull. So you want to retire comfortably in the good old US of A, and you're thinking crypto is your meal ticket. Maybe you've seen those calculators online, or some TikTok guru whispering sweet lies like just buy 2 Bitcoin and you'll retire a millionaire. Yeah, I've seen that shit too. Everyone wants the shortcut. And nobody wants to hear about discipline or sacrifice. Nah, they just want to YOLO into some coin and wake up retired. Idiots. Let's start with the basics. The traditional way versus the crypto way. I'm talking the boring 401ks and pensions versus the Bitcoin path. Old school plan. Work 9 to 5 for 40 plus years. Put a little aside each paycheck into some retirement fund. Let it grow slow and steady, and pray the stock market doesn't tank right when you turn 65. If all goes well, maybe you retire with around $1 million in that account by the end. Maybe your employer matched some contributions along the way. Nice. Take that free money whenever you can. These days, $1 million buys you a middle-class retirement if you budget like an accountant. Maybe Social Security throws you another couple grand a month if it hasn't gone bankrupt by then. That's enough for a modest life. Nothing fancy. But here's the kicker. A huge chunk of Americans ain't even on track for that. I've seen stats, half of them have almost nothing saved. Jack squat. So even the boring path isn't working out for a lot of people. It's a grim reality. Now here comes Bitcoin, busting onto the scene like a wild card. Don't trust the system, it says. Trust me instead. And a lot of us, me included, looked at this shiny digital gold and thought, maybe this is the ticket, a way to beat the rigged game. Think about it. The dollar. Ha! That thing loses value every year. Inflation is a sneaky son of a stealing your purchasing power while politicians tell you everything's fine. Your 401k might get you 5 to 7% a year in a good market. Meanwhile, Bitcoin can shoot up 50%, 100% in a single year, like is nothing. If you time it right, one big Bitcoin bull run could beat a decade of stock market gains. That's the seduction. The idea that you could cut the line and reach the finish faster. But hold on a minute. You didn't think it's all sunshine and rainbows, did you? Big rewards come with big risks. A lot of people see the upside and pretend the downside doesn't exist. It's like falling in love with a stripper. Sure, she's beautiful and fun, but she might pickpocket you when you're distracted. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, they're the wild girls of finance. Exciting. Hell yeah. Unpredictable. Absolutely. They can make your heart race or break it just as fast. All right, so what the hell is this Bitcoin retirement calculator? Basically, it's an online tool where you plug in your info and it tells you if your Bitcoin stash can carry you through retirement. You put in your current age and how much Bitcoin you own right now. Then you add how much more Bitcoin you'll be buying each month going forward. Your monthly contribution, kind of like your crypto 401k contribution. Next, you enter how much money you think you'll need each month when you're retired. Your monthly expenses during retirement. If you plan to live large, that number will be high. If you plan to live simple, it might be lower. The calculator also factors in inflation because $5,000 a month today won't buy the same life in 20 years. Finally, it assumes some rate of Bitcoin price growth. basically trying to predict how high Bitcoin might go by the time you retire. They might use some fancy model like a power law chart or that stock to flow thing people debate. Whatever. It's an educated guess, not a guarantee. With all that info, the calculator projects how your Bitcoin holdings will grow over time. By the age you want to retire, say 65, it estimates you'll have a certain amount of BTC, which by then might be worth a certain amount of dollars, depending on that growth guess. Then it checks. If you start selling bits of your BTC each month to get cash for your expenses, will your stack last until you croak? Let's say age 85 or 90. Or will you run out of money while you're still kicking? It's essentially testing if your plan is sustainable. In the end, it usually boils down to a yes or no. Either, yeah, you have enough, or nope, you better save more or spend less. The first time I tried one of these calculators, I got a big fat nope, not enough, flashing on the screen. It was a punch to the gut. Then I tweaked the inputs. I said, okay, what if I invest more each month? Or what if Bitcoin's price goes even higher in the future? Lo and behold, the calculator changed its tune to a yes. The lesson: these calculators aren't psychic. They just run the numbers, change the assumptions, and you change the outcome. Use it to get a reality check, not a guaranteed prophecy. Now let's talk real numbers. How much Bitcoin do you actually need to retire comfortably in the US? I saw one analysis that put the magic number at around 30 Bitcoin. 30 Bitcoin to live comfortably. Sounds like a lot because it is. Most folks don't even own one full coin, and here we're talking 30. At today's price, around $80,000 per BTC, 30 coins is roughly $2.4 million. In other words, a few $1,000,000. That might seem huge, but it's actually in line with what you'd need in traditional investments to retire well in the US. A couple $1 million in assets is often quoted as a target for a decent retirement income. So, thinking in terms of Bitcoin, 30 BTC just translates that same idea into crypto terms. Now, if you're sitting there with 0.2 BTC or 1 BTC, hearing 30 might make you cringe. It can feel out of reach. And truth is, if you're nowhere close to that, you either need to ramp up your saving and investing, give it more time, or adjust your expectations for what retiring comfortably looks like. Maybe you retire a bit later than 2025, or you learn to live on less money, or you hustle to accumulate more Bitcoin and other assets. One way or another, something's got to give, because one Bitcoin ain't magically turning into 30 on its own. On the flip side, maybe you're thinking, nah, Martin, nah, I don't need 30 BTC. Bitcoin's going to hit $500,000 a coin and then I'll be set with just a few. Hey, I'm all for optimism. I hope it does go to the moon. But basing your entire retirement on Bitcoin reaching some insane price by next year is gambling with your future. Could Bitcoin blow past $100,000, $200,000 in the coming years? Sure, it's possible. But you can't plan on maybe. Plan for what you have now and what you can realistically add. If the price pumps higher, great. You'll be ahead of the game. But if it doesn't, you won't be left eating cat food in your old age because you expected a miracle that never came. Some of you might ask, what if my plan isn't just Bitcoin? Maybe you're big on Ethereum or Solana. Does that change anything? Honestly, not really. The fundamentals stay the same. No matter the coin, you need a big enough total pot of value to retire on. Now, you might argue Ethereum could grow more, so you might need fewer dollars in ETH today to reach your goal if it outperforms Bitcoin. And sure, if ETH's value explodes, you could hit your target with less invested. For instance, 30 Bitcoin, around $2.4 million, is roughly equivalent to about 600 Ether at current prices. If you figure Ethereum will double in value relative to Bitcoin, maybe you only need around 300 ETH to hit that same multi-million-dollar mark. Solana? Let's say it's $50 now. You technically need about 48,000 SOL to equal $2.4 million. But if you believe Solana could 10x to $500, then 4,800 SOL might do it. See what I'm getting at? The end goal still requires a few million in value. It's just the number of coins that changes based on how high you expect each coin to go. But again, that's a big if. The smaller and newer the asset, the bigger the uncertainty. Bitcoin's the most established. Ethereum is riskier, but with high potential. Solana is even more of a wild card. So if you're banking on Ethereum, Solana, or any other altcoin to retire, know that you're taking on extra risk. I'm not saying don't hold them. I have some myself. I practice what I preach. The bulk of my stash is Bitcoin, with a chunk of Ethereum and a sprinkle of some others I can afford to lose because they can boost your gains. But I see Bitcoin as the foundation and ETH/SOL as the high-risk, high-reward add-ons. They might help you reach your number faster if they shoot up in value. But don't bet your whole future on an altcoin gamble. Diversify and be realistic. In the end, whether your nest egg is in BTC, ETH, SOL, or Magic Beans, what matters is how much it's all worth when you need to use it. Just keep that in mind, all right? By now, you might be thinking, damn, this guy's just on all my dreams. Maybe you're feeling a little attacked because I'm basically calling out everyone's BS. Good, it's about time someone did. Because all day on YouTube and Twitter, you get either the moon boys screaming you'll all be rich, or the haters screaming that crypto is a scam and you're an idiot for even trying. The truth, as usual, is somewhere in the middle. And a hell of a lot more complicated. And it definitely isn't as sexy, which is why people don't usually spell it out for you. But I will, because I don't give a damn about selling you fantasies. I'm here to wake your ass up. Let's talk about the emotional roller coaster. You know the old saying, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face? Well, crypto will punch you in the face financially at some point, guaranteed. Stocks might make you yawn, but crypto can make you panic. Can you handle seeing your retirement fund drop 20% in a day, 50% in a month? That's the reality. If you're all in on crypto, I've lived through crashes where my portfolio got cut in half. It tests you. You either grow nerves of steel or you break down. I've seen it put marriages on the rocks too. Imagine your spouse freaking out as half your savings vanish overnight. Not a fun time. So, if you're going to retire on Bitcoin, you need a plan for that volatility. Some folks do this. As they approach their goal, they move a chunk of their crypto into safer assets, cash, stable coins, whatever, to lock it in. Say your target is $1 million and a bull run gets you there. Maybe take some profits, secure it, breathe easier. Don't be the idiot who rides it up and then all the way down because of greed. Conversely, if you're about to retire and a bear market hits, you need a cushion. Either other savings or the flexibility to tighten your belt for a while. Otherwise, you'll be forced to sell your Bitcoin at the worst possible time just to pay the bills. And that's a nightmare scenario you want to avoid. All those promises of passive income in crypto, mostly bull. Remember those platforms promising 10% or more on your Bitcoin? How did that end? Boom, they went bust. Celsius, BlockFi, ring a bell? They imploded and took people's money because behind the scenes they were doing crazy risky stuff. If someone offers you insane returns with no work, it's either a scam or a ticking time bomb. And those guaranteed 1% per day hype schemes, total scams, every single one of them. Even staking Ethereum, which is legit, only gives maybe 5% and still comes with conditions and risks. Real passive income takes a ton of money or a lot of work up front. You can't just throw a few $1,000s into some scheme and retire off the yield. So don't buy into the myth that you'll get rich doing nothing. There's always a catch. Always a risk. Keep your eyes open and your BS detector on. One more thing. Taxes. Uncle Sam will want his cut. Just because your retirement money is in crypto doesn't mean the IRS ignores you. When you cash out Bitcoin to pay for your expenses, you'll owe capital gains tax on the profits. In the US, long-term capital gains, coins held over a year, run around 15 to 20% for most folks. And some states take a bite too. There's no built-in tax break like a 401k unless you use the special crypto IRA or move to a tax haven. So be prepared. If you retire on a few million in crypto, the tax man is coming for his share. Plan for it. The last thing you want is to be caught off guard by a massive tax bill in retirement. And don't get me started on regulations. You think it's all smooth sailing for the next 20 years? One wrong move by regulators, and they could make your life hell. Maybe they slap huge taxes or restrict how crypto can be used. I doubt they'd outright ban Bitcoin at this point. The cat's out of the bag. But they'll definitely find ways to take their cut or control the on-ramps and off-ramps. So keep one eye on the law and stay alert. After hearing all this, you might say, why not just stick to the traditional route and avoid all this drama? If you know you can't handle the stress, there's no shame in keeping it simple. Stick to the traditional route, index funds, steady saving, and maybe just dabble in a little crypto on the side. Better to sleep well at night than take on more risk than you can stomach. But if you're like me, you see the traditional system is shaky and crypto is a big opportunity, then yeah, it's worth it. You just have to be smart about it. Not safe, because nothing's truly safe, but smart. That means don't put all your eggs in one basket. Keep an emergency fund, maybe some investments outside crypto just in case. Keep educating yourself so you don't fall for scams. And I've been around and seen it all. I've watched people get suckered into Ponzi schemes. Remember BitConnect? And rug pulls and lose everything. I had a buddy who thought he was set for life with that Luna crypto scheme in 2022. Then one day it imploded and wiped him out. On the other hand, another friend bought Bitcoin back in 2013 and held through every crazy crash. Now he's basically set for life, but he still drives a beat-up old car and lives modestly because he knows how fast things can change. He's not about to get cocky and lose it. To those of you who are behind in retirement, maybe you're 45 or 50 with only a few grand saved, and now you're hoping crypto will be your Hail Mary. You need to act, and you needed to act yesterday. If you're younger, 20s or 30s, good, you have time. But don't you dare waste that time thinking you can put off saving and investing. And I've seen too many old folks working crappy jobs in their 70s because they thought they could start later. Don't be that person. Seriously, I've talked to some of those folks bagging groceries at 75. Every single one of them wishes they could go back in time and slap their younger self into making a plan. If you're older and way behind, you may have to take bigger risks now because playing it safe won't catch you up. That might mean leaning more on something volatile like crypto, since it's one of the few things that could potentially multiply your money enough. Just be aware. High risk means exactly that. It might not work, and you could end up working until the day you die if things go south. It's harsh and unfair, but it's reality. These are the hard choices you've got, and you got to face them head on. Quick reality check on security. Not your keys, not your coins. If you're going to rely on crypto for your future, learn how to secure it properly. Use hardware wallets, strong passwords, two-factor auth, the whole 9 yards. I don't want to hear that you lost your nest egg because you clicked on a phishing email or left your coins on an exchange that went bust. A little paranoia goes a long way in crypto. Protect your stash like your life depends on it, because financially it does. All right, let's flip the script and imagine the positive scenario for a minute, because I'm not here just to scare you. Picture this. It's 2025 and you actually did things right. You stacked sats like a champ. You avoided the big scams. You kept your coins safe. And you maybe got a bit of luck from the market. Bitcoin's price went up nicely. Ethereum did well too. And your portfolio hit that magic number you needed. You hand in your resignation at the day job, or maybe you already did long ago, and now you wake up in the morning, not because an alarm yanked you out of bed, but because you feel like it. You make a coffee, sit on your porch, or maybe a balcony overlooking someplace nice. Hell, it could even be a modest little backyard, but it's yours and you have time to actually enjoy it. You don't have to rush to work. Instead, you think about how you'll spend the day. Maybe you'll hit the gym. Maybe you'll read that book you never had time for. Maybe you'll plan a trip. You actually have time for your family and friends now, to be present, to help out, to just enjoy their company instead of being stuck in an office or worrying about the next bill. The stress of, how will I pay rent this month, is gone. You're covered. You even check the crypto markets for fun, not out of anxiety. A red day in the market doesn't scare you like it used to because you know you've got a solid cushion. The crypto you accumulated and managed smartly is now working for you, funding your life. Feels good, right? Damn right it does. And you didn't get there by sheer dumb luck or by dreaming. You got there by making a plan and sticking to it when others were either too afraid or too lazy. You took calculated risks. You kept your head on straight during the crazy times, and you learned from the mistakes of those who didn't. That's the payoff for doing this the right way. It's financial freedom, and it tastes damn sweet. You earned it, every bit of it, through smart moves and maybe a few sleepless nights. Now it's real, and no one can take it from you. So here's the bottom line. Retiring on Bitcoin or crypto by 2025 is not impossible, but it sure as hell isn't guaranteed or easy. It's a high-risk, high-reward path. If you want to take that path, treat it like a mission. Make a plan, make backup plans, and execute. Stack sats, contribute to your investments, cut the crap out of your spending if you have to. No one else is going to save your ass. Not the government, not some crypto guru, not your mommy or daddy. There's no free lunch, my friend, but with hard work, smart decisions, and a bit of luck, you can still feast well in your golden years. If this hit you, even a little, if it made your brain tick, smash that like button so the algorithm doesn't bury real talk like this, and subscribe while you're at it. Not for me, but for your own damn future. Because next time we talk, we're going even deeper, and you do not want to miss that.